I recently got back from VCF Midwest and I didn't want to plug in all of my real hardware that I run Netware on. They are HP NetServer E50s. So I figured I was messing around with Proxmox back before the show, and I want to ultimately use a Proxmox machine or two to host some retro machines. So first thing I'm going to do is spin up some Netware servers to host there. But in order to do that, you got to start with DOS. I went digging around and I didn't find a whole lot out there documented on how to do this, so I figured I would do it myself and show how it's done. So we're gonna plow through this, ignore any mistakes. I'm gonna try and get through it in one take. I did this earlier with a machine and it is mostly working as far as I can tell. This machine right here. But I will walk you through how to start with getting a DOS machine, and then I'm probably going to make a second video. I'm actually not probably, I am. I'll make a second video on how to take that DOS machine and turn it into a NetWare file server. So this will be a standalone how to get a DOS 622 box running on Proxmox. So what do we have here? We got a Proxmox machine. It is set up right now just on this VLAN 42. The switch port it's connected to looks like this. It is just a standard access port. I tried to get this working with a trunk port and VLAN tagging up in Proxmox, and it didn't work. So I'm going to go back to this. It works. We'll come back and revisit that part later if I want to do multiple VLANs. This is my retro LAN here, so it's just going to sit there for now. So we got one box, a couple of disks locally. It's a little HP small form factor machine. So you can see there's the network. Oh, step one, we're going to create a new VM. Actually, you know what? Let me back up. So a couple things you're going to need. If we look on this local storage under my ISOs, you're going to have to find a copy of DOS 622 somewhere. It's in Internet Archive. I'm not going to supply you. You're going to have to go find it on your own, but you'll need the 3 install disk images to get DOS installed and some DOS CD-ROM drivers. I will throw these up on my GitHub, and I'll put a link in this video on these CD-ROM drivers because you need those. And ultimately, you'll need to develop Netware and a license. But we're going to start with these 3 floppy disk images to install DOS. To get them on there, do an upload or, just SFTP copy them into Proxmox on the machine. However your choice is. I have them sitting here like that today. So let's create a VM. What are we gonna call this? I'm actually gonna name this NWS003 because that's ultimately what it's gonna become. What are we gonna use? I'm not gonna use any media right now for a CD, and we are going to pick other for the guest OS. System graphic card, standard VGA, that's fine, that's fine. SCSI controller, I'm going to go back to the LSI. For the disk, let's just make this disk 10 gig right now. IDE on my local OVM. CPU, I don't know about the type. We're going to leave it alone. We just need 1 core right now. We're not going to do SMP on these. Memory, what do we need? 128 meg. Network, let's just leave it as Intel. We're going to have to change this later for Netware, but for now, let's just leave it at that. We're going to have to make some changes manually here anyways and spin up the VM. Well, not yet, sorry. So SSH into your Proxmox machine and go to etc PVE, and I can't remember the directory. It's nodes PVE01. And here is the config file for that. We're going to have to add the ability to add a floppy. So we are going to add this. Give me a second to read it. args-drive with a file pointing to, I need to change this name. This is DOS 622_disk1. If I remember right. Let's just go double check. DOS 622_disk1. Yep, let's take this and let's add it. to this config file. And that is our floppy disk. That's our disk number 1 for installing DOS 622. Now, you can't do this in the user interface in Proxmox, so you got to do it locally like this. Well, let's go back over here, under 3. Let's fire it up and see what happens. So escape here for the boot menu. I didn't get it fast enough. Nope, now we have number 5 when you hit escape. So starting MS-DOS, we're going to go through and use the default. We're not going to do an fdisk here manually. We're just going to take all the defaults and it'll create a partition. Whatever the default size DOS. Shoot. You got to do the same thing. Hit escape. 5. Here we go. It did an fdisk. Whatever DOS does, creates partition, formats it, blah, 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 whatever that stuff is, right? So it's done. I'm going to take those settings are correct. DOS. So now the next thing, how do you change the disk when it gets up to disk 2? Such as it's doing right there. We are going to do that right here. We're going to go DOS 622 underscore disk 2. And disk 3. So here is the command, and this particular ID is number 3. So hop over to our PVE session. Nope, 102, my bad. So now we are attached to that virtual machine, and let's change the floppy disk to disk 2. Go back over here, press enter. Disk 3, let's grab that command here. Paste that in. And go back and hit enter. All right, remove all disks. I don't actually know how to remove them, nor do I think it matters. Let's just hit enter and we'll leave disk 3 in there. Boom, when we have MS-DOS. Now, so the next thing is, let's add, well, you know what? Yes, let's add the CD-ROM driver. I'll exit out of there. And let's attach just the CD. So I have a disk image sitting over here. What is the name of it? DOS underscore CD-ROM.img. Let's take this DOS underscore CD-ROM. Okay, and let's reset this. We should now have a floppy attached with our CD-ROM drivers on it. Let's take a look. In A. No, we are still, that's the DOS one. Now let's do a change here. Sometimes this can be kind of funky. Am I spelling it wrong or something maybe? Am I doing something dumb? No, DOS underscore CD-ROM.img. Just make sure. DOS underscore CD-ROM.img, yep. Alright, let's pull up the monitor 102. Do a change. There we go. Weird. Oh well. So I have some drivers in here. Let's do a make directory CD-ROM. Let's just copy. There they are. And I have some default auto exec. I'm just going to copy auto exec dot bat to C colon. Yes. Copy config dot sys to C colon. Yes. Let's go back here and edit this. This comes off one of my standard boot disks. We just got to swap out the A colon with C colon. Note I have mscdex here. That's one of the things you need. And in config.sys, I have the virtual IDE, that's sort of universal IDE CD-ROM driver. And I'm going to make this /L colon drive F. So just double check here. C colon, don't care about that, don't care about that. Exit, save, yes, and let's do a reset. We should now detect a CD-ROM. Was it not? Oh. What is that? Oh, you don't add it here, you add it in. You do it here. /L colon F. Should remember it's not config sys. One more reset. Boom. You know what? Let's try and attach a CD-ROM, but first let's do this. Let's edit our file here and let's just comment that out for now. Hardware, CD-ROM, let's use an ISO, look local, and let's find the Novell Netware one. Now, this has been kind of wonky on me once in a while. Let's just see if it works. So, it's the F drive, right? So this is what happens once in a while. So let's do a reset now that it's mounted. Arg. There we go. And there is Netware. Well, let's do this. Let's go hardware. Let's get rid of the CD. Anyways, that is it. You now have a DOS machine. Took about, what, 10 minutes or so? And you can do anything you want with this. I think that's about it for right now. I'm going to see if I can make an image of this in some way. Stick it up on the GitHub along with some of those commands. I'll put these commands up there just so they're shown. Again, you got to download your own DOS 622, but I'll supply this one that has a couple of CD-ROM device drivers that I found that work well with this. So, anyways, I think that's it. Take care. Laters.